The information contained herein is provided for entertainment and informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal advice on any subject matter. The content of this show contains general information and may not reflect current legal developments, verdicts, or settlements. Any information contained in this show is not intended to be a substitute for legal counsel.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Family Man. I am your host, Grant Gisondo, the owner of the law offices of Grant Gisondo, PA. We are a full-service family law firm located in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Call us today for a free in-person consultation regarding any family law case, 561-530-4568, or online at sunshinedivorce.com. We will fight for you each and every step of the way. sunshinedivorce.com. Today we are joined with Amy Mitchell, the head paralegal over at the firm.
Hello.
Hi, Amy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. It is a beautiful day here in South Florida, and today we have a little bit of an interesting show for you. Last few shows, we've gotten through a little bit about alimony. We've gotten through the child support. We've gotten through timesharing, custody. We also spoke about alimony one day. If you listened to 2 shows ago, we had Magistrate Thomas Baker from the Palm Beach County Courthouse giving us a judicial or judge's perspective about a lot of areas of family law, and we're very grateful that he was on the show. He was a great co-host that day. We learned a lot. Today we're going to be doing some tips and tidbits from a family law firm, from a family law lawyer, as well as a family law paralegal. I, Grant Gisondo, am your family man lawyer, and Amy is your paralegal. So you're going to get 2 different perspectives, one from a lawyer and one from a paralegal, all about basically working in the field and what you might need to know if you're looking to hire a family law attorney. A lot of people come into the office and they're not sure what they should be asking us, or they're not sure a lot of the questions they should be asking. So we're going to get through some of that information today. Should be pretty interesting. But, you know, some of your questions over the past 2 weeks have been a lot about me. You wanted to know more about me. You wanted to know more about the firm. And I appreciate that because it means you're taking an interest in actually who we are. And I thank you for that. But I'm going to let the lady go first here. I'm going to let Amy tell a little bit about her past. So, Amy, you are a licensed family law paralegal. You're licensed by the Florida Bar. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I'm registered by the Florida Bar, but yes.
Okay, so give me an idea here. How did this all start for you? When did this pursuit of a career in family law begin? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay. Well, first I'll start with just a little bit of background about me in general. I am born and raised in Florida, so I'm a Florida native, which I guess happens to be fairly uncommon these days in Florida. Many residents are actually from other states, but I am a Florida native. I was born in Fort Lauderdale, moved to the Stuart area when I was about 2, and was raised in that area, went to middle school, high school in Stuart. After high school, I actually got a job at a law firm when I was 18 or maybe 19. It was a family law firm and criminal law firm. And I worked there for about 3 or 4 months, and decided I really liked it and that I wanted to pursue a career in the legal field. So at that point, I enrolled in Indian River State College, their paralegal program. Indian River State College is actually based out of Fort Pierce, but there's various other campuses on the Treasure Coast. I continued to go to school and work at the firm that I was at. Thereafter, I probably worked at maybe 2 or 3 other family law firms in and around Stuart. Roughly in about 2010 or 2011, I actually moved to Hawaii. I started working at a family law firm in Hawaii, which did or practiced predominantly in family law, but more specifically handling military family law matters. So that would include divorces or any type of other family law matter that they had, which was actually pretty cool because it got me a lot of experience in military family law matters, which can be very different than regular civilian family law matters. Thereafter, I would say about 2013, I moved back to Stuart, and that's actually when I started working for you. 2 other important points, actually, that I didn't say but are really relevant to this is that I am a Florida registered paralegal and also a certified paralegal.
What does that mean exactly?
Well, the main difference is that a Florida registered paralegal is a designation and certification that's given to you by the state, whereas a certified paralegal is a national certification.
Excellent. Okay. And one of those is, now there's some involvement with the Florida bar as well, right? With one of those?
Yeah, the Florida registered paralegal is actually through the Florida bar. The certified paralegal is through what's referred to as NALA. And actually, one of the other differences between those two is that to become a certified paralegal, you have to take a very difficult exam, which at this point I think has like a 50% pass rate, and it's comprised of about 4 days of testing.
Interesting. Okay, so it's almost like a mini bar.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, very interesting. Okay, so I just had Florida bar flashbacks. Obviously, I'm more of the family law attorney side of it. So to give you a little bit about how you become an attorney in Florida, or a little bit more about me that you guys have been asking. I actually am originally from Long Island, New York. I grew up in Garden City, which is a nice town in Long Island, New York, and then the eastern end of Long Island is where I spent a lot of summers. So originally born and bred New York, born in Brooklyn, moved down here in around 98. I went to Palm Beach Atlantic University, did my 4 years there. After college, though, a lot of people go directly to law school, and that's something I did not do. I actually worked for a fair amount of time. Before school, I used to actually make a living as a competitive surfer. A lot of people don't know that about me, but yes, you can actually make a living as a surfer if you're pretty decent and you can get to various competitions around the world and stuff. But then when that career started to end, I started actually captaining fishing boats for a long time. And then I kind of made my segue into the legal field. I actually was a receptionist for a little while at a very prestigious law firm in Palm Beach, and then started doing legal assistant work, worked my way up to paralegal work, and then finally one day I made the decision, I'm going to go to law school. So what did I have to do in order to get into law school? Is you have to take something called the LSATs, which is your admission exams, and you have to score, within the higher percentiles if you're actually going to get into a law school. Went through all that. That takes some time, and then you actually get into law school, and you do 3 years of law school. And then after your 3 years of law school, you hopefully will get a job somewhere that'll give you some courtroom experience. Most new attorneys don't actually get to be in the courtroom for a while. They're doing a lot of research and a lot of writing. I was extremely fortunate. When I got out of law school, literally the day after I took my bar exam, and let me backtrack for a minute. So after you graduate law school, you actually get your JD, which is your Juris Doctorate, your Doctorate of Law. From that point on, you need to study for the bar exam and then actually take the Florida bar exam. The Florida bar exam is a 2-day examination. It is extremely grueling. It is extremely comprehensive. It is just flat out hard. The amount of knowledge that you need to have in order to get through that exam is incredibly overwhelming. I studied for about 4.5 months. And when I say studied 4.5 months for this exam, I mean that I studied every day, 8 to 10 hours a day for 4 or 5 months before I took this exam. But it's also a great achievement when you get through it. So then you pass your bar exam and then you get a job. So I was lucky. After I passed the bar exam, the next day I actually found myself in a courtroom. The people that I worked for at that time was kind of like, you're never going to get this unless you're just thrown into the deep end of the pool, kind of sink or swim. Luckily, I was able to swim. A lot of people that I graduated with sunk very quickly. They couldn't get it or they weren't ready for it. So for the early part of my career, I was in the courtroom every single day. I was conducting trials every single day. I was given a supervisory role to get through some of the beginning stages, but after that, you're pretty much on your own. So I've litigated literally all over the state of Florida. When I first started, I was with a large civil litigation firm, and I found myself in Jacksonville, in Tampa, in Key West, Isla Mirada, Miami, all through the central, all over Osceola County, all over Martin County. I mean, I literally was everywhere. everywhere. I was probably doing between 30 and 40,000 miles a year. And the only reason I know that is because I had a car and I had to track my miles, and it was crazy. But what it did for me that was wonderful is it gave me a very high comfort level with being in the courtroom and dealing with different situations. And that's something you want to look for in an attorney. You want someone that's going to be kind of comfortable in difficult or different situations. Sometimes, you have a very easy case and you can kind of show up to court and you can do your job and everything's fine. Some days you get a really tough case and you need to, not only be well versed in your area of law. My area of law is family law, but you also need to be extremely well versed in the rules of evidence, civil procedure, courtroom procedure, what the judge expects of you, how you need to do things, how you need to present evidence. And believe me, and I think Amy's going to agree with me on this, is that every judge has quirks. That they want their evidence presented in this format, or this judge wants this evidence presented in this format. And you need to kind of be really aware of what those judges want, and you need to meet those expectations. Otherwise, you could be looking at a very, very long day in court. And that's something that we are very, very familiar with. In fact, Amy and I spend a lot of time in the office going over the evidence and making sure everything is, pre-marked and preset. And this is all stuff they don't teach you in law school. This is stuff you pick up through practice. Having done so many trials, these are all little things that, you pick up along the way and you learn how to do. So that's kind of my road of how I got to practicing family law. Eventually, by the way, after working at a civil litigation firm, I did segue my way into a family law firm. I actually worked for probably one of the most prestigious family law firms in all of Palm Beach County. We typically did celebrity divorces. We did extremely high income divorces. Minimum I think that we would be taking at that time, 10, 20, $30 million of assets. So they were extremely prominent, but I was very fortunate to work there. Should the owners of that firm be listening today, no, I'm not going to say your name, but I do want to say thank you because it gave me an overwhelming amount of experience coming out. After that, I started my own law firm and been working there ever since. Amy actually started with me as a paralegal at another law firm and then stayed with me through the years. And I actually started my law firm with her, greatly with her help. We've been here ever since. We're slowly growing in size, but we're doing a better job every day. So if you're just tuning in, this is Grant Gisondo, the family man. I'm joined with Amy Mitchell today. I'm the owner of the law offices of Grant Gisondo, PA, a full-service family law firm located in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Call me today for a free in-person consultation regarding any family law case, 561-530-4568, or online at sunshinedivorce.com. And if you're just tuning in, we're talking a little bit about different tips and tidbits about a family law lawyer, a family law firm, and also some things that can make, if you're looking for a family law, things you should be paying attention to. So why am I telling you about our history today, about Amy's history, about my history? Because you have a right as potential clients to know who you're hiring, and you want someone that practices in your field. So one of the big things that if you're looking to hire a family lawyer that you should be looking for, if you're in a divorce or a custody or timesharing, you should be looking for someone that actually practices family law every single day. You don't want to be going to your personal injury attorney or your bankruptcy attorney or potentially a probate or someone that did your will and trust and asking them to potentially help you in a family law case. This is a highly specialized area of law. There's a lot of statutes that only apply to family law, and you want to make sure that you have someone well-versed in that. I am someone extremely well-versed in that. I can tell you that Amy is someone extremely well-versed in that as well, as is everybody at my firm. So did I miss anything about work history? I think we got it all. Did you have anything else that you wanted to touch on about your work history?
No. I mean,
we got it all.
I think we got everything.
Okay, good. So, it kind of brings up an interesting question, and this is something that was asked to us last week, was really the difference between a lawyer and a paralegal. You've just heard the educational differences. A paralegal needs to go to a paralegal school, and that's kind of the end of the road for them. A lawyer needs to receive a bachelor's degree from a four-year university, and then get into law school, do 3 years at law school, study for the bar exam, take the bar exam, pass the bar exam, and then they're actually licensed to practice. And by the way, just so you guys know, and a lot of people don't know this about the Florida bar exam, is that there's more to it than just information. You also have to go through an extremely comprehensive background check. They look at everything from your credit to speeding tickets to if you've ever had instances where you've broken the law or if you've ever been sued. So you're under a high level of scrutiny. I did graduate law school with several people that they were not able to be admitted into the Florida bar because of certain past histories, things like DUIs. Sometimes that can be very difficult to overcome. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about the difference between being a paralegal and being an attorney. There's certain things that we can do, and there's certain things that paralegals can't do. So let's start with the big one. And I know Amy's chomping at the bit to tell us the big one today. Amy, as a paralegal, give me one thing that you cannot do.
I cannot give legal advice. That would be probably the biggest thing.
Yep, that is absolutely the biggest thing. Paralegals are forbidden to give legal advice, whereas attorneys, that's pretty much our whole job, is to give clients legal advice and try to assist them through different legal areas. You're depending on our advice, and our advice is usually based on our intimate knowledge of the law as well as our past experiences. Anything else you can think of? Number 2, what do you think?
We do not represent clients in a courtroom.
Yep, great. So paralegals can do a lot of the support work. They can write, they can research, but they can't actually represent a client. Only an attorney can represent a client. When you go to the courtroom, you can't have a paralegal go with you because a paralegal cannot address the court. They can't speak directly to a judge. Now, does that mean that my paralegals never see a courtroom? No. When I have evidentiary hearings, meaning that I'm presenting evidence or I have a trial, I actually bring Amy with me. And the reason for that is, although she can't say anything or address the court, she can assist me when I'm addressing the court or when I'm presenting evidence. So, for example, if I'm talking about, one spouse's infidelity and I have evidence that I want to present to the court about that, Amy could be handing me the folder of my evidence that's pre-marked and kind of ready to go for the judge while I'm addressing the court about it. It makes the presentation of evidence a little crisper. I think it makes it cleaner, and I think it makes it more time efficient. That's one of the things that at Grant Gisondo, PA, we do a little differently, is that we like to think of ourselves as a team. So we all chip in for those big hearings to make sure they're going as seamless as possible. When I say as seamless as possible, I mean when I'm in the courtroom, I don't like mistakes. I don't like problems. I don't like surprises. I like everything to go perfectly according to plan. And the only way that I can ensure that, one, is to be very meticulous in our preparation for trial. Both Amy and I typically prep together. I bring, obviously, the legal knowledge to it. She brings her experience, her preparation, as well as her amazing organizational skills to it to make sure that we prepare for this trial. So that's important. So that other thing, obviously, paralegals cannot address the court. Now, one of the other things that I will chime in here and say that an attorney, when it comes to having a paralegal working with you, is that the attorney bears ultimate responsibility for everything a paralegal does. Would you agree with me about that?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, anything Amy does, I'm responsible for. I have to oversee everything that she's doing. I have to check and actually read and make sure that they're accurate, all the motions that she's going to be writing or any research that she's going to be conducting. I never get to say in court, "Oh, judge, I'm sorry we made that mistake, but it's actually my paralegal's fault." That is a huge no-no in a courtroom. It is the attorney's fault, and it is the attorney's responsibility every single step of the way. There's no way that is changing no matter what you do. I've actually personally seen judges really come down on an attorney when they've tried to blame a paralegal for a mistake. That's something that we don't take lightly, and that's something that judges don't take lightly. So, okay, we've been talking for a little while here, so we're going to take a really quick break, and we're going to continue talking with Amy Mitchell about some different tips about hiring a family lawyer, the differences between paralegals and attorney. We'll be right back after a brief break.
Non-attorney spokesperson.
Without the proper training, diffusing a highly volatile bomb is not something you want to try by yourself. When a marriage is about to explode, the same wisdom applies. Hire a professional or pay the consequence.
Headed for divorce? Diffuse the matter with the guidance of the law offices of Grant Gisondo. Online at sunshinedivorce.com. That's sunshinedivorce.com. Main office in Palm Beach Gardens.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Grant Gisondo, the family man, the owner of the law offices of Grant Gisondo, PA. We are a full-service family law firm located in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Call us today for a free in-person consultation regarding any family law case, 561-530-4568, or online at sunshinedivorce.com. We will fight for you each and every step of the way, 561-530-4568. Joined today with Miss Amy Mitchell, one of the head paralegals over there at the law firm. Today we've been talking about some different things in the family law, some frequently asked questions. Right now we're still going through some differences between paralegals and attorneys. There's a huge misconception out there about what paralegals are and what attorneys are. So we've already spoken that paralegals cannot give legal advice, whereas attorneys are basically guaranteed to give you legal advice. Attorneys bear ultimate responsibility for the case and the actions of the paralegal. Only attorneys can address a courtroom, address a judge, and only attorneys can have clients. Actually, paralegals cannot have clients. They can work on a client's case, but they can't have their own clients. Which that basically means is that Amy can't go out and basically say, I'm looking for clients and hang a billboard and represent people. She actually can't do that. She can assist people in document preparation, but that's about as far as that can go. Some things actually in common between paralegals and attorneys that we both frequently do is both paralegals and attorneys can conduct legal research. Amy, I know you love to do research.
Yes.
It's true. I mean, you do phenomenal research, and I've seen her. She loves to research topics. Both attorneys and paralegals can write legal documents. We can prepare legal documents, and we can write memos. But ultimately, if any of those documents are filed in a court file, you either have to tell the court that this was prepared by a non-lawyer, or you need to have the lawyer sign off on those documents before they're actually filed. And that's usually done at the bottom of the page, so the judge is seeing that. One thing is that there is criminal liability for unlicensed practice of law. So if you're just a paralegal and you're out there soliciting clients, which is always forbidden even for lawyers, or you're out there trying to pretend you're an attorney, you're going to end up in some trouble, and that's something you definitely don't want to do. So there are a lot of common things between attorneys and paralegals, but there's also some really big differences. I was a paralegal for a long time, and I definitely enjoy being an attorney. I like having the responsibility. I like having the supervisory role, and ultimately I like giving people legal advice that I feel is going to help them. Amy, if you had to do it over again, would you become a paralegal? Would you become a lawyer?
That's a hard question.
That's what we do. We ask hard questions.
I guess if I had to do it all over again, I would probably become a lawyer.
You would?
Yeah. And I mean, I still think at times about doing it, becoming a lawyer. But yeah, but I mean, I'm pretty certain that if I had to do it all over, I'd probably just become a lawyer.
So why? Why would you want to be a lawyer? I mean, you see what I do every single day. Why would you want to do this?
I think because, you expend so much efforts as a paralegal doing a lot of research and writing, and, I think you get to a point, given you have a certain amount of experience and stuff, that where you feel as if, you pretty much know this stuff. And it's kind of like, well, maybe you should have just gone all the way and become a lawyer because you know a lot of the same stuff that the attorneys know. So, I mean, and sometimes you feel as though you would do a good job representing a client.
So you'd want to go to court, you'd want to argue, you'd want to hear, you'd want to see how well that would go.
Well, yeah, I mean, but then I've kind of, said in the past too that if I was to become a lawyer, I'm a big fan of research and writing. That's what I like to do. So, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily need to be an attorney that litigates, but I don't know. I mean, I guess I'd have to see how it was, back then if I got to do it all over again.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I would definitely not want to be a paralegal. I don't know if I could do it. I don't even know if I could work for myself, to be honest. That'd be pretty difficult. But folks, if you're just tuning in, this is Grant Gisondo, the family man, the owner of the law offices of Grant Gisondo, PA, a full-service family law litigation firm located in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Feel free to give me a call if you have any questions about the show, if there's any topics you'd like to hear us cover, or you'd like to schedule a free in-person consultation, 561-530-4568, or online at sunshinedivorce.com. You could always go to our original website, gisondolaw.com. That's GISONDOLAW.com. Actually, since I mentioned that you can give us a call for a free consultation, let's talk a little bit about free consultations. People show up, and sometimes they show up like a deer in headlights. They have no idea what to expect. And I want people to really maximize these consultations. So the first thing that everybody wants to know is, are they really free? Yes, they are really free when you come in to see me. You will meet with me. You will not meet with only a paralegal. You will not meet with an associate. You will meet with me personally. And I will not ask you for any money. You will not be charged for the half hour, 45 minutes, or hour that we sit down together. A lot of firms do charge for that. They'll charge you $300 for an hour to sit down to talk about their case. I don't do that. There's no hidden fees. There's no cost. There's no expenses. I want to get to know you while we decide on whether or not we're going to be able to work together. So yes, they really are free. This is also a time for you to ask questions. It's not a time for you, though, to ask for legal advice. So one of the things we can't do in a free consultation is basically tell you how you should act. We can only give legal advice to a client, and at that point you're really not a client, you're a prospective client. Now, does that mean that I'm going to go blast all over the internet the stuff that you told me? Absolutely not. It's absolutely confidential. I'm held to a very high standard of confidentiality, but it is a time for you to ask questions. Some of those questions might be, what is an overview of this family law process? How is this going to work? If I'm getting divorced, what are my next steps? What can I expect at the end of the day as far as timesharing or custody? What can I expect at the end of the day as far as alimony? Am I liable for attorney's fees? What are those attorney's fees going to cost? These are all great questions. Now, every case is really different. So the most prepared that you could possibly be is to take out a piece of paper, the night before or a couple days before, and write down a list of questions that you want to ask or topics that you want to be covered. I'm happy to sit there while you go through your list, and we will answer every single one of your questions. I definitely don't want you walking away from a consultation still saying, oh, I didn't get to ask that question, or, oh, I totally blanked and I forgot to do that. I don't want you to do that. I want to make sure we're hitting all of the topics. So the other thing that I do during these consultations is I give you an overview of the procedural process of your case. And every case kind of is different. So whether you're here for a divorce or a dissolution of marriage or a custody or an establishment of paternity or maternity or child support or a modification or a contempt, I give you kind of a rundown of the way things are going to go. And it's kind of like the procedure. That's really important for you to know so you kind of know what to expect. I try to reduce a lot of clients' anxiety. And believe it or not, clients do have anxiety about the way this process is going to go. It gives you kind of an idea. The other thing that I always do in a consultation is I give you a retainer quote. Now, everybody wants to know what a retainer is. We're going to get there, so just stand by. But yeah, I'll give you a quote about an idea of what I would charge hourly, as well as what the retainer is going to be to get this started. And we're going to talk about retainers in a minute. The other thing is we're going to discuss a lot of the issues in your case, especially those issues that are unique to your case. So, for example, if you come into my office and you want a divorce and you tell me that I don't want to be married anymore, we don't really need to discuss that issue. All you basically have to tell me is that you don't want to be married anymore, you want a divorce, and we can move on to something more unique to your case. Something unique to your case might be that you have a 10-year-old son and that son is autistic and you're concerned about care for your son. That's a unique issue that we would want to spend some time discussing how that's going to work. If you have a child that has some type of a disability for any reason, you might be looking at child support receiving or paying past the age of 18, depending on the level of the disability. So that's something that's a unique issue. Or, for example, let's say that you own property in another state, or that you're only down here for a couple months. Does Florida even have jurisdiction to divorce you? That's all information that we would want to get through in that initial consultation. But most importantly, it's a time for us to meet. It's a time for you to get to know me a little bit, to ask questions, but also to make sure you like me and that you're comfortable with me. One of the biggest mistakes I think clients do is they hire an attorney that they don't really like, or they don't really want to work with, or that they don't get along with. Think about it this way: is that if we're taking you down the road of a family law case, you're going to be spending quite a good amount of time with me. You're going to be dealing with me and my staff on a somewhat regular basis. Maybe not every day, every other day, maybe 2 to 3 times a week. But as trial's getting closer or court is getting closer, you might be seeing us every other day, or for a while there, you might be seeing us every day for a week straight. Every case is different. So you kind of want to be, working with somebody that you get along with. You don't really want any personality clashes. I consider myself to be very easy to get along with. I have a very easygoing personality, but I also consider myself to be a professional in that, if I disagree with something you're saying, my opinion really doesn't matter. What matters is my ability to properly represent you in the courtroom. And that's something I pride myself in. So I don't need to agree with you. I don't need to be on the same page with you. I just need to be able to do my job. And my job is to be able to take your objectives and meet them. And that's the goal of the firm. That's what I tell everybody every single day at the firm. We do have quality control meetings. We do meet about our cases every single week to figure out, to-dos, what needs to be done, what doesn't need to be done, how a case is going. And we roundtable a lot of ideas. That helps. And the clients are not charged for any of that, just so you know. We don't charge to talk about your case. So that's the other thing. Ultimately, in a consultation, usually towards the end of the consultation, is that I will tell you whether or not I'm willing to accept your case. And this sometimes throws people for a loop because, sometimes I do tell clients, I'm sorry, but I can't represent you. Attorneys do not need, they have no have to accept every single case that walks in the door. We're allowed to say no. We're allowed to be choosy, and we're allowed to decline representation. That doesn't mean that we don't like you. It doesn't mean that, you don't have a good case. It just means that sometimes we feel like we wouldn't be able to meet your objectives and adequately do our job. We might refer you to somebody that has more experience. We might refer you to somebody that has more experience on your unique issues. There's different things we could do there, but just because you're coming in for a consultation, it doesn't mean we have to accept you. I do decline cases. It happens. Sometimes, people have objectives that I feel like I can't meet, and I think they'd be better served with another firm. And I'm very, I'm instrumental about that. I'm very honest with people. I try not to hide anything. So that's another thing we're going to go through. The other thing there is that if we do decide to accept your case, we're going to be signing something called a retainer agreement if you choose to hire the firm. And a retainer agreement basically is the rights and responsibilities and the financial aspects of the case all written down into a big contract. Everyone says, well, I just met you. Why do I have to sign a contract? Well, retainer agreements and the representation of a client has to be in writing. That comes directly from the Florida bar. You don't want anybody on a handshake deal. You want all this stuff to be clearly laid out. So what we're talking about today, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about really how to maximize at this point in your show, how to maximize your free in-person consultation when you come in to see us at the firm. And if you're just tuning in, this is Grant Gisondo, the family man, joined with Amy Mitchell, the owner of the law offices of Grant Gisondo, PA. We are a full-service family law firm located in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. You can call us today for a free in-person consultation for any case, 561-530-4568, or online at sunshinedivorce.com. So, okay, guys, we've gotten through basically what to expect at your initial consultation. Next, we're going to go on to a little bit about how hourly rates are determined, how does that work, and what exactly a retainer is. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about hourly rates. How are they determined? Do I just make a number up? Amy, have you ever seen me in your history of working with me just make a number out of the air?
No, I have not.
No, I don't do that. My hourly rates, they're based upon a lot of factors. Some of those factors include an analysis of your issues, the complexity of the issues, the nature of the case, and my experience with those issues. I'm not going to, if you have a very simple case and it's very straightforward and there's going to be little or no court time for us, I'm not going to be charging you, heavy-duty litigation rates if this is a case that we can get done relatively simple. So that's how we determine hourly rates. And, of course, if you want to hear about all those factors, give me a call. I'll go through them all with you. Or if you'd like to know what I would charge you for your case, give me a call. It's all covered at that free in-person consultation. So we're going to go on now to what to look for in a family law attorney. But before we do that, we're going to take a real quick break. See you back in a minute.
Non-attorney spokesperson.
Without the proper training, diffusing a highly volatile bomb is not something you want to try by yourself. When a marriage is about to explode, the same wisdom applies. Hire a professional or pay the consequence.
Headed for divorce? Diffuse the matter with the guidance of the law offices of Grant Gisondo. Online at sunshinedivorce.com. That's sunshinedivorce.com. Main office in Palm Beach Gardens.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Grant Gisondo, the family man, the owner of the law offices of Grant Gisondo, PA, a full-service family law firm located in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Call me today for a free in-person consultation regarding any family law case, 561-530-4568, or online at sunshinedivorce.com. If there's a topic you would like to hear me cover on this show, or you have some questions about something I said on this show, you can write me an email directly. It's Grant, Grant, at sunshinedivorce.com. Just like the sun that shines out your window every single day. Or you can always check us online at gisondolaw.com, spelled GISONDOLAW.com. Trust me, it's easier to spell Sunshine Divorce than Gisondo Law. Okay, so welcome on back. We're talking a little bit about, at this segment of the show, how to make the most of that free in-person consultation. So one of the things that people ask me all the time is, what should I look for in a lawyer? And that's a great question. It's a highly individual question, though. What you might be looking for in a lawyer might be different than what somebody else is looking for in a lawyer. So I can only give you my personal opinion. What I can tell you about what I would look for in a lawyer, or what I would like clients to look for in me. Number one, someone that you can trust. You want someone that's dependable. You want someone that's on time for your appointments. You want someone that's going to show up. You definitely don't want to be dealing with somebody that's a hot mess. It happens. Some lawyers are. So definitely someone extremely trustworthy. Someone, we live in this digital age. Everybody is online and everything is rated. Hotels are rated, motels are rated, restaurants are rated, and guess what? Now lawyers are rated. You want somebody that has positive ratings. You want someone with a good reputation in the community. You want to know how good a lawyer is? The best way to do that is look to past clients and see what they have to say. If you want to jump on Google and you want to Google my name, Grant Gisondo, read my ratings. Take a look at what they're saying. I'm lucky. I have good ratings. Places you can go that are dependable: lawyers.com, Martindale Hubble, Avvo, that's AVVO.com. And you can actually look at attorneys' ratings. See what past clients have to say. See what their reputation in the community is. See what their past really looks like. It's kind of like doing a background check on a lawyer. Also, you want someone that you get along with. Like I said, that you're going to be dealing with this person on a regular basis, and you want someone that you kind of like, you kind of get along with, that's easygoing. You kind of have to deal with somebody that you're okay with. You're going to be dealing with this person a lot. Through the years, I've had a lot of clients, and I can't really think of anybody that we didn't work together because our personalities really clashed. So, if you're a professional, your personality should never clash with a client. Like I said, you don't have to agree with your client. You don't have to like your client, but you have to litigate and you have to advocate for your client. And that's very important, is that I make sure that even if I don't agree with you, I'm making sure I'm doing my job for you in the courtroom. And that's really what it all comes down to. Most importantly, you actually want somebody that actually practices the area of law that you need. So if you got hurt in a car accident, don't call me, because I don't know what to do with that. I'm a family law attorney. I do divorce. I do dissolution of marriage, custody, timesharing, child support, anything domestic relations. I also do domestic violence. But I don't know what to do with personal injury. I don't know what to do with wills and trusts. That's not the area that I practice in. So make sure that you're hiring an attorney that actually practices the area of law that you need help with. Think of it just like a doctor. If you have a sinus infection, don't go to a heart doctor. If you've recently had a heart attack, don't go to a general practitioner. Go to somebody that specializes the help that you need. Another question that's being asked frequently a lot is does my case require an expert for the purpose of litigation? Now, what is an expert? I'm going to actually bring on an expert accountant and an expert psychologist one day, so you guys can actually hear what they actually bring to the case. But does your case require an expert? Maybe. It depends on the case. So for simple financial matters, you own a house, you have some retirement accounts, you got some bank accounts, no problem. We handle that in-house. That's a piece of cake. if you have 16 bank accounts and you have 17 investment properties and you have your own business and your spouse has their own business and there's a ton of accounting work that we need to get through, sometimes it's more cost efficient to bring in an expert or a forensic accountant. Or most commonly, why would I bring in an expert? If you're telling me my wife stole $3 million from my company and I can't find it, I'll bring in an expert that actually can do an accounting, a forensic accounting of your finances to see where that money was spent, where it went, and where it is now. The other thing is that if you feel that your spouse has psychological problems, and when I say if you have a reasonable, believable, everybody has psychological problems. Every spouse has psychological problems. I don't think anybody that's ever come to my firm wanting a divorce has said, you know what, my spouse is perfect. You wouldn't be getting a divorce if they were. Everybody has some level of psychological problems. But if you think that your spouse is truly going through some difficult times and that your spouse shouldn't be around your children due to their psychological problems, that might be a time to bring in a forensic psychologist that can do an evaluation. So does your case require an expert? It depends. Again, this is a topic that we cover in that free in-person consultation. If you would like to set up one of those free in-person consultations with me, give me a call, 561-530-4568. You can also email me, grant@sunshinedivorce.com. The other thing that throws a lot of people for a loop, and I guess not a lot of law firms are doing this, is that when you come and you pay your initial retainer, and all an initial retainer is, it's very simple. It's just a prepayment of fees. Typically, I like to take about 10 hours of prepayment of fees done up front. It's not a huge number. It's affordable for 90% of the population. So everybody wants to know is that after you pay that retainer, and don't worry, I'm going to talk at another whole show about retainers, how it works, the accounting side of it, and what it's all about. But just understand that a retainer at this point is prepaid legal services. If, for example, a portion of that retainer is unused, unbilled, so let's say I quoted you 10 hours and your case actually settled for 8 hours, what happens to that extra 2 hours that you paid for? Well, I give it back. I give it back to you. There's no questions asked. You get a refund for it. A lot of firms don't do that. They keep that initial retainer as non-refundable. So understand, at Grant Gisondo, PA, our retainers, the unused portion of it is refundable to the client every day of the week. There are no questions asked about that. We keep very meticulous billing and accounting records. You can also call us any time that you want to know where exactly you are with the retainer, how much you have left on your retainer, and things like that. That information is available to everybody 100% of the time. So if you're just tuning in, I'm telling you a little bit about today about how to make the most of your free in-person consultation. But I have a couple more things I want to discuss. One of the things that I want to get to is your questions. I really appreciate when you guys email me your questions, or you send in your questions, or you call. You can call anonymously with questions. So before we get to those questions, let me tell you again, this is Grant Gisondo, the family man. I'm the owner of the law offices of Grant Gisondo. We are a full-service family law litigation firm located in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. You can call us for a free in-person consultation for any family law case, 561-530-4568. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get back with all of your questions.
Non-attorney spokesperson.
Without the proper training, diffusing a highly volatile bomb is not something you want to try by yourself. When a marriage is about to explode, the same wisdom applies. Hire a professional or pay the consequence.
Headed for divorce? Diffuse the matter with the guidance of the law offices of Grant Gisondo. Online at sunshindedivorce.com. That's sunshindedivorce.com. Main office in Palm Beach Gardens.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Grant Gisondo, the family man, the owner of the law offices of Grant Gisondo, PA, a full-service family law firm located in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Call us today for a free in-person consultation, 561-530-4568. We will fight for you each and every step of the way, 561-530-4568. We've spoke a little bit today about some tips to make the most of your free in-person consultation. We've gone through a little bit about being an attorney, a little bit about my background. Thank you, everybody, for asking a little bit about me. I'm happy to answer any questions that you'd like to have if I didn't cover it during the show. Give us a call if you have any questions, or if there's a topic you'd like to see us cover during an upcoming show, you can email me directly, grant@sunshinedivorce.com. We're now up to my favorite part of the show, which is we get to read some of your questions. Amy, she's my head paralegal. She's joining me today. She's going to be reading some of these questions. Just so you guys know, give me a little bit of a break. I have not seen these questions before you're reading them, so I've had zero preparation in these responses. So I'm shooting strictly from the hip today. So let's go. Amy, first question.
Okay, first question is from Jake in Lake Clark Shores.
Hi, Jake.
When choosing a lawyer in any field, what would be an indicator that you've chosen a good lawyer, and what would be a sign that you've chosen an incompetent lawyer?
Ooh, okay, so we're going to start right off in the deep end, so much of getting our feet wet. Okay, so indications of a good lawyer. Jake, a good lawyer is going to make you happy. A good lawyer is going to succeed in court. They're going to meet your objectives, and they're going to give you solid representation. They're also going to give you solid advice. They're not going to waste your money. They're not going to waste your time, and they're going to move your case along efficiently. A simple divorce case shouldn't take 3 years. So a good lawyer is going to be able to move your case along and also be able to give you answers to all of your questions. If you call up your attorney and you ask him, hey, we're going to mediation. What's mediation all about? And he kind of says, let me research that issue. Well, we do mediation almost every single day. A lawyer should know what mediation is, what it's all about, what to expect, and he should put your mind at ease, taking away some of that anxiety from you. So if your attorney really can't answer any of your questions without doing a colossal amount of research, that might be, an indication that you don't have the right person for you. But Jake, if you're unhappy with somebody that's representing you in a family law case and you'd like to have a conversation with me, 561-530-4568. It's totally free. I'm happy to discuss this with you.
Okay. Next question is from Brenda and Stuart. What's the difference between a paralegal and a legal assistant?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so at my law firm, at Grant Gisondo, PA, we have both paralegals and we have legal assistants. So the main you know what? I'm going to defer this one. Amy, you're the paralegal. You're in charge of most of the legal assistants as far as supervising what they're doing on a minute-to-minute basis. What's the difference? What's the difference between you and, let's say, a legal assistant?
Well, I guess the main differences, and especially at our firm, is legal assistants they usually greet the client first. They'll help the client with their intake forms. They usually handle most of the scheduling. Whether it's mediations, hearings, depositions, anything scheduling related, they'll do. Usually draft some of the more simple motions, notices, things like that. Paralegals generally they'll do research, some of the more complex motions or trial memos or other legal documents. But I would say that's probably some of the major differences between them. Paralegals just handle the more complex side of things rather than legal assistants. And
legal assistants, and I think I'm correct in saying this, they don't have any specialized education. Like, they don't have a legal assistant school. They're usually trained in-house. See, our legal assistants, we train them in-house. We actually, when we're looking for a legal assistant, we actually don't want to hire anybody that has too much experience, because we kind of like to mold them into the way we do things. And sometimes when you're starting with a fresh canvas, that's a little bit easier. Not always, though. Sometimes I take legal assistants from other firms that, they need to make a job switch. They come on over and they have a ton of experience. Great. That it just makes it easier. But there's no formal training for legal assistants. It's more hands-on training, on-the-job training.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Cool. Okay.
Next question is from Aaron in Port St. Lucie. My son wants to be a lawyer but is having a lot of trouble with the LSATs. Is there a big difference between the big-name law schools and some of the smaller schools?
Yeah, so tough question. I went to Nova Southeastern University, which is a private law school located in Davie, which is right by Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Nova is considered a big-name law school. It's really well known in the state of Florida. You know, is it like Princeton? No, it's not. It's not on that level of names. But does it have to be? No. So what I usually tell people is that if you want to practice law in Florida, go to law school in Florida. If you want to practice law in New York, go to law school in New York, because a lot of these schools are going to teach you a lot about passing the bar of your respective state. Is the education very different? No. We're all taught the same information, but how you're taught that information can be very different. So because I had a private university, a private law school, I had very small classes. You know, some law school classes can be hundreds of people in a single class. My law school classes were not that big. They were topped out at about 50 people, so you're getting a lot more hands-on attention. With a lot more of that hands-on personal attention, I feel that every student is really grasping the concepts and the law that they need to learn much more in depth. So if you're struggling with those assets, one thing that I would recommend, with those LSATs, that I would recommend that your son does, take an LSAT prep course. They have courses just like SAT prep courses. They can teach you a little bit about how to take those exams. Take them again. You know, you can take them up to 3 times. So take those LSATs as many times as you need to, within reason, you know, and you should be getting better and better along the way. But if your son wants to be a Florida lawyer, I strongly suggest he goes to a Florida law school. And I can't say enough good things about Nova Southeastern University. It was a great school. I had a great experience. I loved law school. I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Okay, great. Next question is from Jane in Riviera Beach. She asks, my husband and I agree that neither of us want child support. Can we do that?
If you have minor children, no, you can't. Jane, you know, it's the law says is that if you're getting divorced, did it happen to mention if she was getting divorced or no? Okay, nope. So if you're getting divorced, there's going to be a child support component. And the only time that there's no child support is that if you both have exactly equal time sharing and you make exactly the same amount of money, and I mean down to the penny. You know, and you're splitting, you know, healthcare, you're splitting aftercare, all that stuff is split evenly. That is extremely rare. Typically, there is always a child support component, but can either one of you agree to waive child support? No, you can't. That would be against the statute.
Okay. Next question is from Christy in Mangonia Park. The thought of going to court scares the heck out of me. Do you and other lawyers enjoy your time in court, or would you rather be working in the office?
I can't really speak for other lawyers, but I do like to be in the courtroom. I feel that it's where my skills are most being utilized. I didn't go to law school to research and write and sit in an office all day long. I like meeting with clients. I like going to court. I like advocating for my clients' wishes. I think I'm good at what I do. And, you know, I do enjoy that aspect of my job. I also enjoy helping clients. I also enjoy mediating, which is a form of negotiation. I like all that stuff. There's really very few parts of my job that I don't like. One of those things being sometimes when I have to get up at 3 a.m. to get to Miami for an 8:30 hearing. I don't love that too much, but I do it. So if you don't want to go to court, okay, fine. We'll settle your case in mediation, or we'll settle it through, you know, another channel. There are options to keep your case out of court. I don't want you to be terrified. But one thing that I can promise you is that if you come in and you meet with me and you ultimately want to work with my firm, you're not going to be terrified anymore, because you're going to know that you have somebody in your court or on your side that is extremely well versed in the courtroom. We're going to take away a lot of that anxiety from you.
Okay. Next question comes from Clark in Lantana. Grant, if you had not chosen family law, what branch of law would you have wanted to go into?
Oh, wow. You know, I've always done family law. My whole legal career has been family, with the exception of a few short years at a civil litigation firm. But I think if I was to do it over again, I would probably do products liability, which basically means that a product malfunctioned or wasn't made properly and injured a person. I like to view it as personal injury on steroids. It requires a lot of court time. So basically, if you have a toaster and you turn on that toaster and it explodes, that would be a product liability case. It's heavily expert driven. It's a very national area of law. It requires a lot of experts and a lot of research, writing, and heavy litigation. But that's stuff that I enjoy. So that's probably what I would do.
Okay. Next question is from Ryan in Hope Sound. Do I have to complete a parenting course in my family law case?
Yes, you do, Ryan. Part of the requisite in every family law case is that you have to complete some type of a positive parenting course. When you come in for your initial consultation, we actually give you a list of places that you can do those courses. You can do them online or you can do them in person. It's your choice. Most people do them online. It's quick and easy. It's not expensive. And once you're done with that, you'll get something called a certificate of completion. That certificate you just send over to me. We'll file it with the courthouse, and that area of your case is done.
Okay. Next one is from Craig in North Palm Beach. This is actually a really good question. If I'm still living with my wife, do I need to pay her child support?
Craig, very good question, and extremely misunderstood area of law. Craig, if you are still living with your spouse or your ex-spouse or the mother of your child or the father of your child, you do not need to pay child support until you're no longer maintaining a dual household. So if you're living together, no. Once you guys separate and are no longer living together, yes, you do. Part of that is that you basically are in a supportive relationship or you're supporting the household. Your duty to pay child support isn't triggered yet. That actually turns on when the parties are no longer living together. That is a really common question. Great question, Craig.
Okay. Next question is from Ray in Fort Pierce. If you think your spouse may be cheating on you and you're wanting to get a divorce, should you attempt to catch them with concrete proof? And if so, how far can you take it without getting yourself in trouble?
No, you should not do that. If you think your spouse is cheating on you, hire a lawyer. Hire a lawyer immediately. Don't do anything. Do not take the matters into your own hands. Don't play private investigator. Don't play lawyer. Come in. Give me a call, 561-530-4568. Book your free personal consultation. Come in. We'll talk about it. Do not take matters into your own hands. Let the professionals handle this. The last thing you want to do is taint evidence, get yourself arrested, or get yourself in a fist fight because you've done something wrong. So let the professionals handle it.
Okay. This is our last question, and it is from Bob and Davey. I hear a lot online that when preparing for a divorce, you should lawyer up, hit the gym, and delete Facebook. Is there any truth to the deleting Facebook part?
The deleting Facebook part? Well, that kind of depends on what you're posting on Facebook. If you're... That's a great question. It's actually really funny. Yes, you should lawyer up. Always lawyer up. That should be your first move. Sure, you can hit the gym. Deleting everything on Facebook, I don't know. If you're posting pictures of your kids and your family, I don't think you need to delete that. But if you're posting stupid things on Facebook, drugs and alcohol and partying or any of that stuff, yeah, get rid of that stuff. I wouldn't hide evidence in any way, shape, or form. But if you're getting a divorce and you've just hired a lawyer, I think you have more important things to talk about than Facebook right off the bat. But I can tell you that I have personally put on evidence of Facebook posts in a trial, and they did carry quite a bit of weight. If there's something specific on your Facebook page that you're concerned about, probably you should delete it if you're asking that question about something specific, or if there's something that I'm not touching about Facebook that you want to talk about, give me a call. So thank you, everybody, for all the questions this week. This was a really tough set of questions and really good. So good job, everybody. Again, this is Grant Gisondo, the family man, the owner of the law offices of Grant Gisondo, PA. We are a full-service family law firm located in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Call us today for a free in-person consultation regarding any family law case, 561-530-4568, or online at sunshinedivorce.com. We will fight for you each and every step of the way. 561-530-4568. Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next week.
Non-attorney spokesperson.
Without the proper training, diffusing a highly volatile bomb is not something you want to try by yourself. When a marriage is about to explode, the same wisdom applies. Hire a professional or pay the consequence.
Headed for divorce? Diffuse the matter with the guidance of the law offices of Grant Gisondo. Online at sunshindivor.com. That's sunshindivor.com. Main office in Palm Beach Gardens.